Okay, you guys, I hesitated even doing this video, to be honest with you, because it's like breaking news. The sky is blue. So, a couple days ago, playwright, movie mogul, and BET owner Tyler Perry came on a podcast and sat plopped down on a woman's couch and said that Black women, especially, if you make more money, if you want to be with a Black man, if you're a neurologist and he's working a job, any kind of job, you got the mortgage paid and he can pay the light bill, be happy with the light bill if he's a really good man. This is understandably very, very hard, particularly for Black women to hear. But it's nothing new, and it's nothing that I haven't heard before. And if you've watched a single Tyler Perry movie, and this is a surprise for you, I think you need to go back and rewatch, because this is who he has been, and he's not budging, okay?
Listen, a lot of women, especially Black women, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but I will, in our society right now, Black women are making a lot more money for the most part than Black men, right? There are a lot of Black men who are successful, but for the most part, Black women are making the money. So if you can find love, if that man works, at whatever job, and is a good man and is good to you, and honors the house and honors his wife and does what he can, because his gift may not be your gift.
Exactly.
That is okay. That's not somebody who's beneath you.
Yeah.
That's somebody who came to love you at your worth, right?
Yes.
And as long as he's secure in himself to know that, yep, she makes most of the money, all I can pay is the light bill. As long as she's comfortable enough to say, I'm going to cover the mortgage and all the other stuff, you've handled the light bill, baby, you can take me to dinner every now and then. That is fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But that's so hard for a lot of people to take in, because that means, no, I need somebody who is, they need to make 5 times more, and I got to have, well, go on, keep your list, baby.
Yeah.
God bless you. Hope it happens. Go on, keep your list.
So that's what he said. But let's talk about what a lot of Black women heard, because it sounds very different from what I just said to you. Black women, we all know that most of you want to date and marry Black men for whatever reason. These men have you in a chokehold because while you are breaking your back, going to school and getting into career fields so you can support yourself, the men you want just ain't really that interested. I've been writing plays and movies trying to convince you to reject hypergamy by showing you all the bad guys in my movies are rich and all the blue collars have a heart of gold. I'm very upset that my decades of indoctrination are beginning to be publicly questioned. You know, Black men in general don't make a lot of money, so you need to just keep doing what you're doing and be happy with what you get. That's what Black women heard when Tyler Perry said what he said.
Welcome to the Watered Body Care Ritual, the world's first multi-step face and body care system designed specifically for women of deeper skin tones. Say hello to a more radiant, smooth, and even complexion. Try Watered Body Care today and experience the power of natural, spa-grade ingredients designed specifically for women of deeper skin tones.
And a lot of Black women had a lot to say, understandably. But honestly, this isn't anything new. We are literally the only group of women in this country who have not benefited from the softness of what patriarchy brings. So we've got 2 factions. We've got patriarchy and we've got feminism. So in the patriarchy, we end up getting the short end of the stick. And in feminism, all it's focused on from us is the work. We've been working this whole time. Part of the reason why feminism became a thing and it didn't start with us, was because women wanted to work. They wanted to contribute to society. They felt like their intellect, their work ethic, their ideas, their creativity was something that they should be able to contribute to the world. I 100% agree. Those women were put in positions where the men said, "Oh no, little lady, you stay home and you be happy, take care of the kids, keep the house. I will work, and when I come home, if you have a nice dinner for me, I will really be happy for it. Make sure you have my slippers and my cigar and my whiskey." Okay. That never happened with Black women. We never had that kind of situation. Yes, there are a few one-offs. So please don't tell me about your great-grandmother who was a pampered princess who lived in the heart of Texas and she was waited on hand and foot by your grandfather. I don't care about those, because I know for a fact that in general, Black women always had to work. But what has happened since the gains in civil rights and the feminist movement, Black women are taught certain things. And raise your hand if you're a Gen Xer, if your parents ever told you to go get your education, get your career, because that career and that education is going to be your husband. You cannot guarantee that if you go to college like these other girls can go to college and find a husband. That's probably not going to happen for you, because about 65% of Black women are enrolled in college and about 35 or less percent of Black men are enrolled in college. So that's not something that your parents can tell you to do, whether they say it outright or if you observe it through osmosis. It's just not really an option. We get our careers, we get our education because that's going to be our husband, pretty much, right? So when we hear things like, you can be a neurologist, and if he can only pay the light bill, then that should be enough. We're literally the only race of women who are told to date hypogamously, which is the opposite of hypergamous. Every other woman is expected of it. Men may not like it, but they understand it and they expect it. Black women, we're just not taught that. We are not taught to operate under those conditions. And if we do, we are seen as gold diggers, or we're seen as not really sincere, or what have you. These are just normal behaviors that women throughout millennia, throughout time have done, because what is it that women want? They want a provider, a protector, a producer. These are all things that happened before we were even born. They were put in place because of the physicalities and the differences between men and women. But Black women have always had to be the hunter-gatherers and the dragon slayers. So if we're hunter-gatherers and dragon slayers, we should just be okay with the light bill guy. I mean, are you okay with the light bill guy? But here's the thing where we need to take some accountability in all of this. Black women, I understand that you guys have a preference for dating within your race. But if it is hurting you, if you're not getting what you want, if you have these goals in mind, if you find that this kind of setup, the way in which we're set up and taught from a very early age to accept less. And mind you, this is not something that just exists in conversations. There have been studies about this. There was a study by the Brookings Institute that said while Black women were making economic gains that were on par with white men, we were still headed for a $5 net worth. And it has nothing to do with our education. It has nothing to do with our career choices. It has everything to do with our choice in partners. It is the men who we choose that keeps us from getting to that next level by experiencing a softer life, giving our children generational wealth that we can pass down to them. We are on par with white men and white women when it comes to education and career, and we're still so poor because of who we're choosing. Because the group of men, and not all of them, but a significant amount of the men who are in our scope of exposure aren't as successful. And so what are we told? Date down. being a brother up. If he cares about you, that should be enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. What if something happens to you as the primary breadwinner? What if something happens to you if you're the primary breadwinner and you're of birthing age? I gave birth to 4 humans, and I can't even imagine my husband saying to me, with these 4 babies, you need to get back to work. Yeah, I'm not going to pay all these bills. You need to go back to work. And literally all of those kids. If I was the primary breadwinner, it would have been very difficult for light bill guy to cover me. That's a real thing. Tyler Perry isn't all wrong, though, because for some people, money isn't everything. It's a lot, but it's not everything. The problem is this, that a lot of the men in our community aren't necessarily doing as well as Black women, their Black women counterparts, but they still crave for that traditional family structure, that traditional Leave It to Beaver where the guy comes home and, he's get his smoking coat on or robe, he gets his cigar, he gets his whiskey, his slippers, and Fido comes over and sits at his lap. They want that Leave It to Beaver ideal of what they believe the 1950s family was like while still being light bill guy. So if you have people in our community who are light bill guy, who want you to work the way you work and have the success that you have, but then when you come home, you have to pull the second shift and be Mrs. Cleaver from Leave It to Beaver. Can you imagine that? It's absolutely Neolithic. Wait a minute. I take that back. Even Neanderthals realized that they need to take care of women. Even Neanderthals realized that they needed to go out and prove and fight and kill and I don't know, slay wildebeests or whatever to bring home. They knew that they had to do that. And the women were gatherers who took care of home and hearth, etc.